Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where you'll find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. So if you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom located in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. During this hour, we'll share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today, we're going to start off the show talking with Debbie Kabibi, who's the CEO of MEO, otherwise known as Maui Economic Opportunity. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Susie. How are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Is it going to be a good year?
It's got to be.
It's got to be. Does that mean it's got to be better than last year or high hopes?
High hopes.
High hopes. Okay, I'll go with that. It's always interesting to talk to people in January because, you know, you kind of close the books kind of on last year, although even most nonprofits run their years from July 1 to June 30th. But it's still that end of the year. It's like a hump you got to jump over and kind of think of some new ideas, maybe new programs. And I noticed someplace when I was reading through some information about MEO, you've started talking about how you change programs to suit the needs as they arise. What is that? Is it? Aha. And it's, we have a phone buzzing. It's always interesting to see because the needs do change. And a lot of times we look at our agencies and we say, hey, this is what we've been doing for 20, 30, 40 years, you know. We'll just keep doing it as long as the funding's there. But that's not the reason to do it.
Oh, no. When, you know, MEO is a community action organization, so we were created under the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964, and we're supposed to be fighting the war on poverty, and that's kind of broad. So there's like 3 national goals. It's family stability, offering them economic opportunity. It's creating economic opportunities within the community and empowering low-income people to be advocates for themselves to strengthen their community and provide opportunities, which is pretty broad. So using those 3 bedrock principles, all the programs that we administer kind of have to fall under that. I think the original goals, I'll be 19 years at MEO next week, which I can't believe it.
You started as a kid.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long ride. It's been a great ride. But anyway, there were about, I think, 6 national goals, and now they're down to 3, which is basically the same thing. It kind of makes it a little bit more condensed, but basically every 3 years we do a community needs assessment, and we look at what are the needs out there, and we find out if we can meet those needs, if we already are meeting the needs, or if somebody else is doing it, we might collaborate with them. So our programs will shift. They may be similar, but they'll shift. And so one of the core funding we get is community service block grant funding.
That's federal.
And federal funding, and that's kind of the umbrella money that started community action, and typically was used more for administrative support to help where there's those shortcomings in some of the grants. And we still use that, but we also provide direct services with that now. So this last year, a couple things we did with Community Service Block Grant was we had a disaster relief fund to help people that were affected by the fires out in Lahaina. We created a program called Persons in Need 60 Plus, so seniors that were at 100 or that are at 125% or below the federal poverty level could get assistance with hearing aids, walkers, glasses, dentures, all the things that a lot of times the medical doesn't cover, or they don't have enough to cover all of it. And then we also did a mobility assistance program when the passes to the Maui to the paratransit were cut out of the county's budget. A lot of people that depended on using those passes were concerned because they're on a fixed income, and how were they going to pay for their transport. So we took federal money and subsidized anything that was over $45. We're paying for that out of the federal program. So we're lucky that the State Office of Community Services administers that grant. and they're very flexible as long as we write a strong program and show them that we're meeting the target population and how it's going to help. We have some flexibility, which is really wonderful.
Right. It doesn't often exist.
No, no. And then, people like Hawaii Community Foundation do flex grants and some of those things. I mean, that's invaluable to what we do because people always go, gosh, MEO, you're such a big organization. You don't really need money. But every dollar is dedicated to a particular program, and the grant says this is how you spend it. So you can't say, well, I have extra here. Like
Let's
at home.
move it over there.
Yeah, like at
Right.
home, if you've got extra in your food budget and you need more for your electricity, you can move that. Well, if it's funded by different programs, you don't have that flexibility.
Right. There's no rearranging the budget to fit
No.
fit the needs. But earlier you said that the program started out with like 6 target areas and now has kind of rearranged that and put it into 3. Does that mean that they have eliminated some, or did they just broaden the definition of the 3 to include those and maybe even more area?
No, that's a great question. And they basically collapsed it into to 3 so that it's a little bit broader categories and not as specific, which I think is useful. It makes it easier to manage it.
Right.
But really the bottom line is it still targets low-income people, helping them, make better lives for themselves. And not only just giving them service, but at the end of the service, putting them in a better place. And I think, like a Head Start program is a perfect example of that. Low-income families come in, and by the time they leave, they're in a better place. The families are stronger. Our youth programs are geared to that, our employment and training programs. So all of those speak to that purpose or mission, which I think is important.
Right. A lot of people look at that, and whenever you say the war on poverty, they kind of look at you like, war on poverty? We still have poverty.
Yeah.
I mean, you could look at statistics and say, has it gotten better? Has it gotten worse? But it's more encompassing than just a number or a percentage. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so much around us. We look, even here on Maui, we think, we don't have any poverty here. Look around you. If you look close, we do. Mm-hmm. Serious poverty.
Yeah, and the face of poverty shifts too over the years, right? So depending on, the economy at the time, but because the high cost of living here in Hawaii, I mean, there's a lot of working poor people too that although they may not meet the definition of poverty, when you're looking at can they pay their rent? For some people, a flat tire is an inconvenience. For other people, a flat tire is devastating because it's the difference between can I pay my rent, or can I buy food, or do I fix my tire?
Right. Or basically, can I get to work?
Yeah, and those are the clients that that we work with. But we do, we focus on looking at where they are, down the road. I mean, even our rental assistance programs, we follow them for 6 months after they get assistance, where many programs only require that you do it maybe for 3 months. We'll do it 6 months, sometimes even a year, because we want to make sure that money helped them get in a better place, and it wasn't just a Band-Aid.
Right. Now, that's a good program to kind of talk about for a minute. The rental assistance, do you also work with them on like creating their budgets or improving their budgets so that they see that they can really afford to live where they're living if they follow the budget?
And that's a very big piece of that program, because that's one of the frustrations. I think sometimes people come in, they say, oh, we hear you're giving out, rental assistance. And we sit down and do a budget with them. And even if we gave them the assistance, the budget shows they couldn't maintain it. So we say, okay, so we either have to cut your expenses, or we have to find a cheaper place to live, or we've got to get you to earn more money. So, we got to come up with a plan. And some people, that's a little frustrating for them. But I think in the long run, then they appreciate it, because we're not setting them up that they're going to need assistance again in, 3 months or whatever it is.
You don't set them up for failure down the road.
Right.
Do they resist some of the change? Well, I mean, I would think that they do, because that's what they're used to.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I think if we look close enough, even at our own budgets, there's things, basically we throw some money away.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, when you look at that, I mean, because we always talk about needs versus wants, right? And really, you got to start at a very young age telling people what is that, because well, I need it, so I want, I want it and I need it. Well, you don't really need it. I mean, why? What is the need? And really kind of getting them to ask that question, and it does make people frustrated sometimes because they still can't really get their head around it. And it's kind of like. It's like some of the small business owners that come in and they've maybe been financing a lot of their expenses on credit cards, and you're trying to teach them about, and I'm speaking to the expert here, but you're trying to teach them why that's not a good idea, and what we can do to take care of that, and not having so much open credit and all those kinds of things. So financial literacy is huge, and not just in rental assistance or in business development, but all the employment and training classes, and even in our youth programs we're trying to incorporate that. And as a parent, I mean, I have adult children now and now grandma, I think it's so important that financial literacy starts at a really, really young age, and it's not just at home. I think it has to be at school and in the extracurricular activities, because so much of the reason that we have people living in bad situations is because they weren't ever taught how to manage their finances. And with all these, here's a credit card, I'll give you, $15,000, you can sign and get it tomorrow. And then all of a sudden you're in debt and you're paying only minimum payment, and you're never gonna ever get ahead.
Right.
So
I think that part of that too is we look at like, I'm always amazed. I've got a couple people that work with me that have kids in school. They're grade school age. And all the extracurricular activities that when I went to school were part of the program. Mm-hmm. They were free. I mean, you went to school, you did those after school, whatever. Now they're all sponsored by somebody else or another organization, and they have to pay for them. And I'm going, what do you mean you pay for swimming? What do you mean you pay for track? What is this? I don't know how parents do it.
Well, that's why it's kind of there's that line between the have and the have-nots. I remember a family member, low income, not having enough money to pay for their son to participate in soccer. So of course everybody in the family kind of hooeyed up and made sure that happened, but not everybody has that support. So a lot of organizations, we look at that as, do we have funding that we can support those kind of activities? Because statistics show you that children that are involved in after school activities, extracurricular activities, athletics, become more well-rounded people, more successful academically. I mean, could go on and on.
Right. I just, and I tried to figure out, when did all this change? I mean, what is it that the schools don't have the funds to do this anymore, or are the school priorities different? But it should, in my mind, it should be the well-roundedness that we're talking about. And if you're going to public school, it should be. Mm-hmm. That's what our tax dollars are for.
Well, I think that's the
we
$1,000,000 question. Oh yeah, I mean, and I think that the public education is maybe underfunded in some ways, and maybe it could be looked at. How the money is utilized. I was a very active parent. I was on the school community council at Maui High and Maui Waina and PTA at Lehigh High School. And, I saw how their budgets are tight. I mean, I give them credit. I think they work really hard to try to stretch it. I think the needs are more than the budget allows. And then, of course, not having staffing and, But
right.
money doesn't solve everything. So that's kind of what community action is about, though, is looking at who are all the players out there, what are the problems, and how can we attack this? Maybe not necessarily with money, but what resources can you bring to the table? What whatever it is. It's kind of like the partnership with the radio station and our sponsor, and so it takes a village.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of sponsors, I think ours wants to say something.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And this is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk with our nonprofit executive directors about what's going on in their world. And this afternoon we started off the show talking with Debbie Kavivi, who's the CEO of Maui Economic Opportunity, talking about the war on poverty as it continues. And it's a never-ending war. I don't think that I don't see any end to it. I mean, it's just helping people one at a time to understand what it is and how to get out of it.
Yeah, well, of course, I think...
That's simplified, I'm sorry.
No, well, I think that was the original intent. It was going to be this war, and they were going to throw all this money, and it was going to fix it. But, it's much more complex than that. And like you said, I mean, some of it is, elements, factors, personal choices, and,
Right.
and sometimes it's just circumstances that really is beyond somebody's control. So it's a matter of just trying to find out how do we, chip away at it. But I think there's been successes,
Yeah, I think that's true, and I would hate to think of the world without it, without having this going on. And we talk so often about how people's lives kind of go on a nice, even, steady stream, and then all of a sudden something happens, whether it's an illness, an accident, death in the family, whatever it might be, that causes a temporary poverty situation. And maybe poverty's too strong, but it's a problem with money, and that's what the bottom line is.
Well, when you're talking about poverty, though, I mean, 125% of the federal poverty level is about, was it 13,000 and some change? That's what person earns to
Yearly
be
earnings.
considered in poverty, and you'd be surprised how many people actually are in that category. Or it's like 39,000, I think, for a family of four. I mean, 39,000 for a family of four on Maui. How do you do that?
Right,
That's
right.
why we have people living 3 and 4 generations in one home, because they can. It's
Right.
90,000 or something for a median
Yeah.
price home. It's crazy.
I was talking with somebody the other day that I felt, I have always thought they were, doing okay. And somehow we got talking about living situations. And he said, yeah, if I didn't have 3 guys living with me in my 2-bedroom apartment, I wouldn't have a roof over my head. And I kind of looked at him and I said, oh, but that's because you're buddies, it's cheaper and it's what the heck. And he says, I'm 52 years old. It's not cheaper and it's not what the heck. That's when I was 22. He said, but my take-home pay every 2 weeks is $612. And I'm sitting there going, well, you must have all kinds of deductions coming out. And he went through the list, and I'm going, my gosh, that's what you get paid for this job. He says, I love my job. I don't love the pay.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I would go out and do. I haven't done anything else. He said, as he said, he was 52 years old, and this is what he's been doing. And I think $612 every 2 weeks, that's $1,200 a month. That's just about what you're talking about.
Right.
That's take home now, but it's and it's all around us. I mean, it really is.
Well, that's why people work
It's a
2 and
wake-up
3
call.
jobs, and it's funny. I always was kind of wondering, like, the wages for most industries in Maui and in Hawaii are lower than maybe your
Mainland.
counterparts in the mainland, and I think that's tied into, and we might have talked about this before, this is my own theory, I don't know if it's true, but I always thought it was tied into the plantation, because wages were very low because of all of the...
They provided housing and-
everything, so
yeah.
so that was the basis for where the wage structure started, and then to go up from there is almost like impossible. So we've never really caught up. And so then everybody sort of set the benchmark. That was where it started, and then it kind of built from there. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Interesting theory.
So, like I said, I don't know. I've never done any research, and it doesn't mean it's true, but that's my story.
And you're sticking with
I'm
it.
sticking with it.
But that's true. I mean, that has some real validity to it.
Yeah.
When you think about it, because they provided housing. They had the company store.
Mm-hmm. The hospital.
The hospital was there. They had a lot of the transportation was provided by either the train or they had a bus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of buses,
Yeah.
I saw on your website you've got a list of a whole bunch of people that have started working for you recently.
Mm-hmm.
Are we filling some of those needs that Harry talked about on his show?
Well, we're still working on it. We were fortunate. We do have a union, and we did ratify a contract with a very decent increase for the entry level wage. Speaking of poverty, and so hopefully, and nonprofits we're
That's
guilty
right.
of not being
Right.
able to pay a lot either. So, but we did bring it up. It's still not quite as competitive, but I think the benefit we have is that it's $18 an hour starting. But it's with full benefits. I mean, you got medical, dental, life insurance, holidays, vacation time, a 401k. After you work for a year, we contribute to it, and you don't have to. You put 4% of your pay in there. So the benefits are rich, and of course, the mission of, helping people, changing lives, and the clients that we serve. I mean, people have to have the heart. So
Right.
we have had a few applicants, and it didn't quite work out. I mean, the problem is that you have to pass a physical, you have to pass a drug test, a criminal background. There's a lot of hoops to jump through. But I feel positive that we're on the right course, and our HR department has been working very hard to get the word out there. And I know they're going to be doing an on-site job fair in the next couple of weeks. I don't have a date yet.
Okay. It's tough though when your unemployment rate is 3% or something.
Oh, it's even less than that.
Is it less than that?
Yeah.
2 point something?
Yeah, it's really low.
I mean, that's everybody who's even what our literacy rate is 6%, isn't it, or something, or higher? So we've got everybody working that can possibly work, I think.
So we have to entice those that are working for other employers that
Right.
like
Well,
to
and-
give back and help and have, the thing is, I say, some of the other industries or the other in transportation companies will pay more, but then the work is not always as consistent. Our clientele is consistent. They're not going to go anywhere. If anything, they're growing. And so, you'll have that. If you're a person that wants to know, gee, I'm going to have work, like construction, you can work a whole bunch and then you have no work.
Right.
So this for those consistent people out there, we are the employer of choice.
and the folks that you work with, I mean, your clientele, are so appreciative of the services. I remember one time when the former executive director, Gladys Bisa, told the story of me coming there and saying, I want to be a bus driver. I don't think that's how the story went, but that's okay.
It was a good story, though.
Yeah, it made for some laughs and chuckles and stuff. But it really, I mean, once she said that, I'm sitting there going, well, yeah, hey, it'd be a great way to learn about Maui, because even though I had lived here for, 15 years or so, I was only here on weekends, really. And so I didn't know that much about the island. And I thought, oh, yeah, I could get out into some of these areas, And she says, it's hard work. And I said, well, I'm not against hard work. And she said, no, I got something better for you to do. And that's what was that. But, it's I still think about it as if that could be fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think some of them do view it as fun, some of the drivers, but it is hard work. It's physically, it's a physical job, but there's a lot of emotional satisfaction, and the clients are so appreciative, and the relationships that you build with them are just almost like friendships, and so we really are blessed with some of our core staff that have been with us for a long time through thick and thin, and they're just amazing, amazing people. We're very blessed to have such a great staff, and not just in transportation, just in general. I mean, we have some very long-term employees that are so dedicated to what we do, and I just feel so fortunate to work with them.
Well, when we were building our Mokohau housing project, we had 2 of your bus drivers
Yeah.
that qualified for houses.
Yeah.
And one of them had been with you for 25, 26 years or something.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh my gosh, really?" And she had quite a 401k. And so they came in, and a lot of people had said, somebody from MEO couldn't afford these houses. Hello, there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of it is about priorities when we're talking about economic situations. We have to know what's number one in our minds, and a roof over their head that they know is consistent. The rent's not going to get raised next month, or you're not going to get a letter saying, "My son's coming back from the mainland. He wants this house. You've got to move."
We
it's up to
need
you.
much more, many more projects like that. I mean, there's such a need, and that would solve a lot of the problems that our clients experience having that stable housing, and whether it's apartments or whatever. I mean, I don't think
Right.
that's a bad idea. It's nice if everybody wants to have a single family home, but that's not maybe practical.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who shouldn't live in a single family home.
Correct.
I've got a neighbor like that. Should live in a condo where his yard's taken care of and whatever. I digress. I'm sorry.
Well, just think of some of the projects like your agency has, and some for Halemo'olu, and some of those for the more affordable low income rentals. That's really would help a lot.
Yeah. The problem that we're all running into, of course, now is the price of land
Right.
and the infrastructure, and that's a tough one. And we'll continue to work with the county council to try to get some things happening that the departments can help us with. Maybe some of the rules and regulations can be loosened a little.
Good luck.
I know, yeah, it's a pipe dream, but it's a new year. What can I say?
New year, new mayor.
Yeah,
New county
and we
council.
we look at it and say, we're not trying to build instant slums. We're just trying to get in there at a decent price. And I looked back, and between the 4 projects that we have done, the price of the house, it's been like roughly 5 to 6 years between the projects. And that's like finishing a project and finishing the next project's been 5 years, not starting in the new one. But the prices have gone up anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000
Well,
just in those 4.
I think that the new mayor, the new county council, a lot of promise, and I like the fact that the focus is a lot of focus on affordable housing, and I think that will help
Right.
strengthen our community,
Yeah,
everywhere.
even creating a committee that's
Yes.
titled Affordable Housing.
Yes, so
Yeah.
we're very, very lucky.
We look forward to working with those folks and seeing how we can turn it around. Debbie, thank you for being here. You have a last thought? You've got a big gala coming up.
Yeah, March 2nd, we're honoring Senator Ross Baker. We'll be at the King Kamehameha Golf Club from 5:30 to 9:30. We have Kinda Country playing. We're a country western theme. It'll be a lot of fun. We have prizes and a live auction and good food and a lot of fun. So we have we're almost sold out. We have probably about 30 tickets left. So if anybody's interested, you can call us at 249-2990 and speak with Jennifer McGurn.
Cool.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Susie.
Have a good year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
You too. Okay, that was Debbie Kabibi, CEO of Maui Economic Opportunity, otherwise known as MEO. And we're going to shift gears here a little bit. We're going to talk to, let me see if I get this right,
One more
Carrie
time.
Luna Nunakawa.
Very good,
And
Susie.
did you notice I didn't look at anything?
I know.
I
that
just
was
said it.
amazing. Good job. Isn't
a-
Debbie amazing?
It's a new year.
I love Debbie.
Yes.
She's so good.
It's a new year. I'm trying to,
Yeah. New
after 8 years, you'd think I'd have. But now I haven't been saying your name for 8
No,
years.
you
though, 'cause
haven't been
you're,
saying my
You're a
name for
relatively
8 years.
newcomer. What's it been? 2 years?
2 years. Coming up on 2 years.
Is it really?
So fast, right?
Yeah. You still having fun?
Still having fun. I'm tired.
Well, I was going to say something about the bags under your eyes, but I thought I better not.
Right?
No, I'm kidding.
No, but the executive director job never ends. Like, even if you're on vacation, you're really not on vacation.
What's that?
Right? My husband's always like, "Can you put the phone down?" I'm like, "Wait, let me just finish this email." And he's like, really, you're on vacation? I'm like, no, there's no such thing as vacation when you're running a nonprofit organization.
When you're into what you're doing, the worst thing you can do is try to force yourself to stop.
Right. I
You know?
know, because
I
you
mean,
get on a roll, and
yeah.
then you just got to keep. And then one can of worms, like, just opens up the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, and then
I
you're like,
do.
ooh, I should not have done that because now I'm stuck here for a few more hours.
Well, and if you force yourself not to do it today, you think it can wait till tomorrow. I'm going to wait.
But then 20 more things pop up.
Exactly. and then it's not 10 minutes you're going to spend. You're going to.
Exactly.
It just goes and goes and goes.
It does. It
but,
does.
But we love it.
Yes.
We really do.
Well, the thing is, like what you and Debbie were talking about, the war on poverty, and with the report, the Alice report that I came on, remember?
Oh,
And
by the
talked
way,
about
we never said that you were the chief professional officer for Maui United
Oh,
Way.
yes, that's important. They're like, which nonprofit again? Which one?
Right.
Yes,
I was
Maui
so
United
proud of getting your
Way.
name right. And then
That
I
was
got
a big thing.
And in Maui United Way, I'm not calling it Aloha United Way
No,
anymore.
no, no.
Hello.
And it should be Maui Nui
There
United
you
Way
go.
because we always forget about, and we cannot forget about our brothers and sisters on Molokai and Lanai. So
Right.
because it's Maui County, it's
Yeah.
not just Maui Island.
Right.
So I always try to stick that in Maui
Yeah.
Nui.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You had something
No.
really outstanding you were going to
Well,
say.
it was the Alice report that we came out with that, people are living paycheck to paycheck and it's so difficult. Like you said, something comes up and for some reason, I don't know why, but I feel like things come up in threes. Like, like something will happen, then another thing, and then another thing. And it just takes that one thing to shock your whole financial system especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck, like so many of us do on island. It's insane that you can go from being okay one month to then not having enough food, and that's where like Feed My Sheep comes into play, and you go and you get a bag of food from them, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. But I think you're right that we do have things happen in threes. I mean, I usually think of it as like death. It's, sometimes somebody dies and you go, oh no, here it goes again.
Right.
Who are the other two going to be? And it's like, and it really does. I mean, it may take 6-8 months for the three to happen, but
right.
there's a correlation between how you know these three,
Right.
and it's scary.
It's really scary. It is so scary.
But the thing with funds and with issues that happen, you're right. I mean, it's a domino effect or
It is.
whatever.
And like with our school teachers, Hawaii is the lowest in the nation when they consider cost of living. I mean, it's ridiculous. People have taken pay cuts to come to Hawaii, like over $20,000, and cannot make ends
Right.
meet. And we're losing teachers. We're losing doctors.
Right. That was my next thing. I
mean-
I had the same doctor for 12 years.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And all of a sudden she decided she was going to retire. I said, you're too young to retire. I'm older than you are. When are you retiring? And she says, I've had enough. The paperwork and all the stuff that goes with it.
The insurance.
I don't get to play doctor
No.
enough. And so she said, I'm just calling it quits. So she turned me over to who she recommended to take my case, if you will. And so I got acquainted with the new doctor. 6 months later, she's leaving.
Yes.
And
I
then-
have no PCP and I have no OBGYN right now.
And she turned me over to somebody else, and they left in 3 months. And I go,
Right.
is it me or is it
No.
Maui?
No. Yes.
And then I saw the list in HMSA puts out their, what is it, Island Scene or something, magazine, and it had welcome to new doctors. And they must do it like twice a year or something. And I looked in the list, and the one that's leaving and the one I'm getting are in the same list.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm going, now this is too much, you know.
Yeah.
And the people at the clinic said, oh, but he's going to stay because he bought a house about 3 blocks from the office. And I go, you think that's going to do it, huh?
Right, right.
We'll see.
It's scary.
It is.
It's really scary. There's over 6,000 women with my OBGYN that left that now are looking for a new OBGYN.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, speaking of leaving, we're going to leave just briefly for a message from
Okay.
our sponsor.
And then we'll get to Maui
Aloha from
United Way.
Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors to find out what's going on in their world. And this afternoon, second guest is Carrie Luna Nunakawa, who is the Chief Professional Officer for Maui United Way. See, I got it all down.
You do. Susie,
it's-
I'm impressed.
it's the
that
new
was good.
glasses.
It is. It has to be. It has to be.
It's tuned into something. I don't know what, but I'm
You're
starting
on
to
a
really.
roll.
Yeah, it's really clicking. Anyway, let's talk about Maui United Way
Yeah,
a little
so-
bit. What you're in your
We are in the middle
Session.
of campaign,
okay?
which started September 1st. It goes till end of April. And so we are still looking for new businesses or any kind of business that would like to learn more about the nonprofit community in Maui and how Maui United Way impacts the people and the lives of our Maui community. We would love to share our mission, share our what we do with them. So please give us a call because we're still in the middle of campaign where you can give to one, but you're going to give to many and thousands by giving to Maui United Way. So you can always call us at 244-8787 and we can set that up. But one of the big things that we just concluded was our holiday toy drive.
Oh, right.
So
right.
we partner with the Friends of the Children's Justice Center, and PMG and Queen Ka'ahumanu Center also gets involved with us and sponsors events, things that
What's
happen
PMG?
for Pacific Media Group.
Oh, okay.
So this year we actually met 100% of keiki needs
Great.
and keiki requests that came in. So we had over 2,207 toys that went out to keiki in need all across Maui County, and about over $33,000 in donations.
Wow.
So that was incredible. So we really, really want to mahalo our Maui community for coming in strong for our Maui keiki, our Maui County keiki during Christmas time, because that's always kind of it's very stressful. I don't know about you, Susie, but holiday season, I get so stressed out.
Just relax.
Well, it's so crazy because it's like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then New Year's, and everything else is happening, and it's insane. It just went by so fast.
Well, that's true. It does do that.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But I'm so happy to report that 100% of keiki need were met.
That's great.
Yeah, last year we were almost at 100%. This year we made 100%. So that was amazing.
Does it get easier? I mean, once somebody gives, they kind of get in that mode that they're going to give every year.
Yeah.
If they can.
If they can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, blessings out to our Maui community for finding those few extra dollars to donate, because it is such a hard time when you're trying to, get medical care, get dental care, get whatever, and get your kids to daycare or preschool or whatever, and you have all this money going out. So it's really, really helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So now with your campaign, you say it goes through April.
through April.
Okay, and the different agencies that you support with these, I know you've got like four categories or three categories?
3 categories. So the 3 building pillars of a good quality life. So education, we have health, and then income sustainability. So that's exactly what you and Debbie were talking about. And it's really important to teach, because they don't do this anymore in school. Like, they don't teach you how to write a check. They don't teach you how to balance your checkbook. They don't teach you what it means to save or to pay off your credit card. Like, these are life skills that need to be taught. It's kind of crazy. Like, I feel like we need to bring back, like, what was it? BPA or basic, I forget what they called it.
Yeah,
but it was where you learn how to balance your checkbook. You learn how to read your bank statement and what it meant to save and file taxes and
that
things
was
like,
in school?
Yes, I had that like in middle school.
Did you really?
Mr. Sanchez taught me how to write checks. And then he taught me woodworking too. But yeah, school, go Tigers.
Cool.
But these life skills get
They get lost.
They get lost
in all this new stuff.
Right. And so high school students come out when I was at the college, and they would want these lavish lifestyles, but then their job or career that they wanted could never, ever, especially living here, meet that want. And it was a huge...
That's a big letdown.
Yeah. It's a huge letdown. And I have a daughter who's a freshman, and she got her first credit card because she had to go on a trip. She was representing at the Hawaii All-State Marching Band in the Rose Bowl Parade.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so we had to teach her what it meant. Like, this is not free money. Like, you have to pay this off at the end of the month, so you need to know how much you can spend so you are sure you can pay this off at the end. She goes, well, what do you mean? I said, you don't accumulate this. Like, you pay it off every month. And she goes, what? I'm like, you pay it off every month, so you can't just buy whatever you want just because your credit limit is whatever it is. And she goes, oh, okay. So you have to really ask yourself, do I want this? Can I afford this? And she's like, wow, okay, I got to think about that. So she's very responsible with that one, so I'm pretty...
So when she got back, did you sit down and go over her receipts? And
You know what? She used the card only twice.
Good for her.
And both times was because Daddy told her to.
Was that for souvenirs for Daddy?
No.
Oh.
It was baggage.
Oh, baggage. Oh, okay.
Baggage and a gift for her brother. But
Gotcha.
yeah, that was it.
Oh, cool.
I know. She was like, it's so scary. She goes, I don't even want to use it. I'm like, I know. Me
Yeah.
neither.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, that's and that's great because there are so many who graduate from college.
Well, that's
and
who they
have
target.
$20,000 in debt.
They target. I remember being in college, and everywhere you turn, there's a new credit card little pop-up stand and saying, hey, you qualify.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you never know. But we need more affordable housing on Maui. I mean, that would solve so many problems for not just people living paycheck to paycheck, but even people who are wanting to come back and serve our Maui community. But that's what prevents a lot of our keiki from coming back and living here, is because they can't afford it.
Right.
We're so lucky to be here. So.
It's kind of like if you didn't get here before 2002 or something, forget it.
Yeah.
You can't afford it now.
Can't afford it.
You could then.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and it's insane to see the discrepancies between cost of living here and cost of living just even in Washington or Las Vegas is.
You're talking about Washington State.
Washington State, yeah, Las Vegas,
Yeah.
Arizona, like it's Texas, like it's
I
crazy.
know.
So
I watch Home and Garden Channel.
yes, me too, all the time.
And when they're talking about fixing up houses
Oh, I know.
or house hunting or whatever,
Oh,
and the prices
yeah.
and the size of
right, and they're like, my budget is $150,000, and then they have like this huge mansion. You're like,
right.
that would be rent that you could never buy anything here.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Or the new one that's on, what is it? My Dream Lottery house or something?
Yeah, my lottery dream house
you
or
go,
something.
yeah.
They won the lottery and now they can buy
Yeah.
their big dream house, and their big dream house is $750,000, and you're like, okay, that's a fixer-upper here.
It's not funny, folks. I'm sorry. I'm
No, it's
laughing,
not.
but
It's just
it's so
crazy.
bizarre.
Yeah.
It brings
Yeah.
you either laugh or you cry, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to cry.
No,
on the
we're not
radio.
going to cry. We're not going to cry. We're going to make things better by working with our new mayor, new county council, get
right.
more affordable housing in there,
Hopefully,
taking care of our locals.
Yes.
Right?
Now, one of the things that you were talking about when you said, okay, it's education, it's
Income sustainability
okay.
and health.
and health. When you donate to a nonprofit agency that's a what do you call them, partner agencies?
Partner agency.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The money you give them is for a specific program.
Yes.
It's not just a
No, so
blank
that's
check.
right. That's the confusing thing. People are like, well, if I'm going to give, for example, Women Helping Women is one of our organizations, our partners, and they said, then why are they still soliciting? Because we don't fund their organization. We fund a specific program within their organization. So they have many other programs that they're running, but they come to us for a specific program. So we have 32 partner agencies, but we fund 33 programs because one of our agencies, we actually fund 2 of their programs. One is under education and one is under health. So we support specific program funding. We don't support the entire organization.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
And
You heard it here.
And our partners love our funding because it's flexible for them within their program. And a lot of times when they're writing for grants in other areas, and I know this too, you're really tied to what you can spend your money on. Whereas they do tell us, we follow up, we make sure that they're meeting their benchmarks, we make sure that our donors' money is going exactly where it said it's going, and it's being used in the most effective and efficient way.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. And you have a panel of community people
We do.
who actually do the allocations.
Yeah, we don't. The staff at Maui United Way does none of the allocations. We actually gather at least 40 volunteers, community members, even students, college students, high school students, to meet. And they review all the applications. They interview the executive director, board members, their finance person. They even go and view and tour their facilities, and then they make the community makes the decision about where the money is going to go. So don't get mad at me. It's not me. It is the community's voice that gets heard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a wonderful allocation process. And if people have never done it, call us and be part of it, because it's really eye-opening to learn the different programs and what people are doing in the community. It's awesome.
Do you ever marvel when you see somebody put in an application for funding through you folks with a new project that they want to do, or something that they've been doing but they've got a new twist to it now?
Yeah.
Do you ever sit there and just go, wow, that is eye-opening?
Yeah. And in fact, this coming 2020, we're going to be opening it up to new partners as well to apply. So, and the community will decide which programs will get funded and things like that. But because Maui, we have a lot of new nonprofit organizations that are popping up to meet community needs, and our community needs change all the time. So as an organization, we need to stay relevant and make sure we're meeting our community needs.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Way
Well,
to stay
we
on
have,
top of it.
we actually
You've got something cool coming up.
We do. We have a tennis tournament coming up. It's our 6th annual B. Martin Luna Memorial Tennis Tournament. It's a doubles-only tennis tournament.
really?
So it's so fun. And it's men's doubles, women's doubles, and mixed.
Okay.
And so mixed means men and women, right? Playing against each other. But it's sponsored by Wailuku Junior Tennis Club, and we're working with the new mayor and his staff because the last 5 tournaments, the county has co-sponsored this tournament as well, because everything goes to a nonprofit. And of course, it's going to go to Maui United Way and support our 33 programs. But it's fun. It's going to be February 16th to 17th, and we'll use February 18th if we get rained out or if we need it.
I
But
think you had that last year,
yeah,
didn't you?
this
had
is the
some-
6th annual.
No, but didn't you have some rain issues?
We did, but
Yeah.
Wailea Tennis Club,
Yeah.
bless their heart, they came through and we were able to use a lot of their courts because it wasn't raining out there.
Oh, I see. Because it's usually at Wells.
It's at Wells Park, yeah, and so it's so fun. We have a players' luncheon, we do a silent auction, and it's just a lot of fun for everyone, including the families and the kids. So please come out. If you want to play, give us a call at Maui United Way. I'll get you hooked up with the applications, and we're always looking for tournament sponsors as well. So please give us a call, 244-8787.
What's the age range?
It's open. So it can be juniors and it can be seniors all the way through. So as long as you can hit the ball, come on out. But yeah, I think our youngest player so far was probably about 9 or 10.
Okay.
And played doubles with her sister, and actually one played doubles with her dad, and then in mixed doubles, and then all the way to as long as you're still walking and breathing and
Can hit the ball.
And can hit the ball.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Wow. That's 9 years old. That's
Yes, let's do it.
Oh my goodness.
Let's do it.
Do you know how long it's been since I've had a tennis racket in my hand?
It's okay.
Oh.
Maybe the mayor will
Scary.
come out and do a little exhibition one day too if
there
the
you
county will come
If
through.
they jump in.
Yeah,
Whew.
it'll be fun though.
Gee, I really had a strange thought there for just a second. Maybe I should challenge him to be my partner in a mixed doubles.
That would be fun.
Ooh.
That
If
would be
anybody
fun.
heard me say that, I'd live up to it if somebody heard me say it and got it put together.
I heard you say it. Talking to the right person here,
Gotcha.
Susie.
Yeah, I grew up living across the street from a park, and the tennis court was right in front of me.
Oh yeah.
And so every night when everybody else got done and the lights went off and stuff, we'd go over there and play.
Yeah.
And that was
That's how
great.
I learned,
loved
with the
that.
lights off.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Because I was such a pest. So, no kidding. This is a true story. Mr. Nagamatsu, who used to run Wailuku Junior Tennis Club, would tell me, as long as, as soon as the lights go off, if you let us play, then I'll throw you balls when the lights go off. So that's exactly how I learned.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I was a pest.
But now you're a great tennis player.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Oh, I see. So do you and your husband play in
We
a
do.
mixed?
Yeah, we
Okay.
do. We usually play mixed doubles together.
Cool.
Yeah.
Again, that date is?
February 16th to the 17th, Wells
Okay.
Park, and applications will be available at Wailuku Junior Tennis Club, which is at Wells Park.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
Carrie, this
Susie.
has been fun. Happy New Year. Huh?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Okay, it's going to be a good one. Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. Are we running out of time? No. Okay.
Ooh.
Woo, how about that?
Wow.
I get to go with the next sentence.
Yes.
Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's purpose is to provide an opportunity for nonprofit agency directors. Oh, hello. Thank you, Gary. Anyway, okay, we'll skip that. We'll finish that sentence next week. We want to thank Debbie Kabibi of MEO and Carrie Luna Nunakawa of Maui United Way for being here today and giving us an update on what their agencies are doing. If you heard anything today that makes you want to get involved with one of these agencies, call them for more information on their programs. We want to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to join us again next week, same time, same place, when we'll feature 2 other member agencies of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann. Hey, you know what? Thanks for joining us. Have a great week, everyone. Aloha.